Good evening. Welcome to the October 14th, 2014 Valley View School Board meeting. Roll call having been previously taken. Mr. Venegas, if you kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Larry, can you get my agenda from the conference room? My paper, I forgot the paper copy. Let's see, where are we at? Do you have it up? Would you like to read it? If you would, please give us the affirmation statement.
Our mission is to ensure that all students are prepared for college and a successful life academically, socially, and emotionally, as well as equipped with the necessary tools to have options and make decisions about their long-term goals. This will be accomplished by believing and working towards all students learning through rigorous curricula and meaningful, effective instruction, consequently demonstrating mastery on high-quality assessments, with all stakeholders being held accountable throughout the process.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, agenda, please.
Mr. President, I would like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion on the agenda? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Treasurer's report. Mr. Grisafi.
Treasurer's Report 5.1 includes the usual monthly reports, financial reports, as well as the interim obligation payments for September 2014 totaling $3,318,917.65 for your consideration.
Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Schedule of bills for October 2014 total $2,354,457.28 for your consideration.
Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion on the bills? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Gary.
Summary of investments for September 2014, property taxes received for the same month, along with the state funding update and the school trust account activities are all there for your information. Any questions? Happy to answer those.
Any questions of Mr. Grisafi on the following as presented? All right, next, consent agenda items.
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to ask the board to approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.5. 6.1, board meeting minutes, September 22nd, 2014. 6.2, executive session meeting minutes, September 22nd, 2014. 6.3, gifts for Bolingbrook High School. 6.4, student activity contract, Jamie McGee Elementary School with Scholastic Book Fair. And 6.5, student activity contract for Independence Elementary School with Scholastic Book Fair.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Pillars, student and staff recognition.
Yes, first up, Principal Yolanda Jordan from Bolingbrook High School.
We didn't get a pillar sheet. Mr. Felice, if you would. Oh, we're all electronic up now. How sly. Thank you.
Good evening, President Quigley, Valley View School Board, Superintendent Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, and Valley View School District community. It is with great pleasure that Bolingbrook High School is honoring two of our most dedicated staff as pillars of Valley View. Corey Bassett and Pat Carlson are examples of how the BHS staff is available for students every day. Not only did they counsel and encourage one of our students to attend college, They helped her select a university, made sure she had everything for her dorm, and drove her down to school. It demonstrates the caring nature of our staff and exemplifies the characteristics our parents deserve to have their children surrounded by. Pat Carlson has worked for Valley View School District for 14 years, 9 of those years at Bolingbrook High School. Pat has worked as a social worker and has been fortunate to serve many of our students and families over the years. With 4 years remaining until her retirement, she plans to reach and advocate for as many students as possible to let them know that they are not alone in their struggles. Corey Bassett was one of the last teachers hired before the new Bolingbrook High School opened, but she is definitely one of the best. Corey has completed her department chair internship, is a health education professional learning team leader, and a technology coach. As a highly respected member of her department, she has been appointed as a peer coach and role model to students in the mediation process. Additionally, she serves on the Evaluation Study Committee, sponsors an anger management group for boys, and is chair of the Standards Committee School Accreditation Team. Please join me in congratulating both pillars, Pat Carlson and Corey Bassett.
Thank you, ladies. Next up, Vice President Gugis, if you would.
We have Principal Laura Noon from Beverly Scoff Elementary School.
Oh, and Leo, member of Venegas as well.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, and community members. I'm Laura Noon, the very proud principal at Scoff Elementary. We are here tonight to recognize Mrs. Heralia Escobedo. Mrs. Escobedo is our amazingly talented 4-5 split bilingual teacher and has been a member of Valley View for 13 years. Mrs. Escobedo demonstrates commitment to her students, staff, and families at Scoff through her daily interactions and willingness to support and ensure student success. Mrs. Escobedo exemplifies excellence in all that she does. She goes above and beyond to ensure that she reaches each and every child who enters her classroom. An example of this would be in order to assist her students in being a successful learner, she reaches out to her families weekly to invite them into her classroom in the evenings to provide them with support so that they can assist their children at home. Her positive energy and belief in all students do not go unnoticed. I know I personally have learned many lessons from Mrs. Escobedo about caring and understanding, extending grace and consideration to others. Those are lessons that I'll take with me forever. Scoff is proud to introduce Mrs. Heralia Escobedo as our pillar of Valley View.
Thank you. Next up, liaison reports. From my left, any and all.
The only minor update with regards to the union contractual finalization for Wilco. It's in its final stages. It's looking very positive, and I'll have more, hopefully, from a finality standpoint at our next board meeting. But we have a negotiation committee meeting next Tuesday to hopefully finalize everything.
Thank you. From my right, seeing none, hearing none. Audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to address the board this evening? The Grim Reaper's here.
You recognize me.
I recognize the voice, which is even more scary.
I'll reveal myself in a moment. I have been asked to come here tonight to address this fine board and all of its constituents. There is a lack of participation in an event that is being held in a week and a half. And I want to strongly encourage all of you to attend this fine, fine event that's being held. The reason the event is being held is to benefit the children of this school district. And it's being held on Saturday, October 25th from 5 to 8 p.m. And it's a nice time to get out for the early evening, set the kids with a sitter for a few hours, and get away. So before I remove my hood, I do want to strongly encourage you to sign up. The quicker the better, so I don't have to come visit you for other reasons. And
So
they've got
deaf.
really good deals on costumes at Illusions Costume. So I'm Mike Lawler. I'm head of the Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation. For those of you who've been to our events over the last 20 years, you know that I am not above or beneath doing
Thank you.
something like this for the kids. So we're doing an adult Halloween party. Some of you, this is true, in the room have signed up, and I know who you are. And we tried to make it a fun, affordable evening. Costumes are encouraged. This fine costume, I was going to put this on, but then you really couldn't understand me. This fine costume is available at Illusions Costume on Route 53 in Bolingbrook.
Oh, very nice.
10% discount if you ask for the event.
Is that a purchase or a rental?
This is a promotion item because
Very nice.
I didn't have to pay for
I
the
see
costume.
you walking around the house with that just in general. You could
it's
also double
comfortable.
as a fryer, perhaps.
Yeah,
if
it's a
you
it's a
take the gloves
multi-purpose.
off and yeah.
Yeah, you could be a friar, you
Sure,
could be a
sure.
Grim Reaper or whatever. So we do a couple of events a year. And for those of you who don't know, 20 years we've funded over 700 programs at all the schools, not all the schools every year, but $1.3 million. And the way that we do that is to put on some crazy events like this one. It's really easy to participate. It's a tasting event, sauces and spirits. There's some flyers out front there. You can register online at click on the link on vvsd.org on the front page. And that takes you to our website where you can register. We realize that the economy's not back yet, so we just made the pricing a little bit different. We adjusted just $20 to show up. And you can buy your own food and beverages. It's going to be in McHugh's Dome on Route 53. And costume contest, many different costumes, several different activities, one of which is guess which body part I'm holding. And we've got bags, games, and a few other things going on, and live music. We'll talk about which body parts later on. And
As long as we don't have to bob for apples, we'll be good.
we may get into that later in the evening because spirits are available. So Eustacia is a band that's going to be playing for us. We moved this event in a couple of years back. We did the back-to-school block party at the Promenade. And if you ever wanted to guarantee torrential downpour like today, and maybe it goes along with
throw an outdoor
talking
event.
about the events. Come out for one of our events. So we're doing it indoors. And a lot of fun. If you want to go for the full tasting of barbecue and spirits, then at the door is $65, but $50 online for a few hours more for that. And then for the designated driver, $30. So $20 just to show up and come out and support your students so that we can give a lot more money to the schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Death. Always good to see you, just at a distance. Always good to see you at a distance. Seeing no one else to address the board this evening, moving down the list. Student due process cases.
Yes, Mr. President. I would like to ask that the board approve student due process cases A through H as presented.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Ms. Kinder?
No report.
Thank you. Mr. Grisafi, snow removal,
Yes.
extension of the contract.
Actually, two contract extensions for your consideration this evening. First is with George's Landscaping for snow removal, salting at Bolingbrook High School. We've outsourced the snow removal since Bolingbrook opened back in 2004. This contract was originally awarded in October of 2012 through a competitive bid process and included a one-year agreement with two one-year extensions. Last year, the board approved the first one-year extension with no cost increase, and so we are recommending the second one-year extension for this year. And using our average occurrences for snowfall and salting over the past 6 seasons, we estimate the cost differential to be about $6,600 additional. I will tell you that salt is a very hot commodity right now and very expensive commodity, and so we felt that this was a very fair increase to be coming forth from George's, and so we've had good success with them over the years, and so we are recommending the one-year contract extension for the 14-15 year.
Motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? To reiterate what Gary said about the cost of salt and the increase in this contract, which is very minimal considering a year ago, salt was anywhere between $54 and $63 a ton. This year, if you're lucky to get it at 80, and it's probably more like $115 a ton. The people who produce salt don't really make any more salt. They just make it year-round, and then when there's a depletion like we had last year because it's such a foul winter that we had, it wasn't just us, it was, the whole nation basically. There is a shortage, and it's a supply issue and so on and so forth. So that being said, that is a good deal. And I also, I know Mike Lopez was meeting with public works directors of the two villages to discuss how to mix and get the most out of your salt. And we just think of it as somebody throwing salt on the streets. The reality is it's a very scientific process. The temperature, the humidity in the air, the dew point, all those things factor into what kind and how much they put on the ground and what kind of mix they put with it. If you do the wrong thing at the right time, you will turn your streets into a skating rink. And it doesn't have to be very cold for that to happen. We also, just for the public's general information, the village of Romeoville has very graciously allowed us to put our salt in their dome. We will continue to do that. The idea of building a probably $500,000 or more salt dome isn't something that I really want to entertain. So I want to thank the village of Romeoville for their allowing us to continue that relationship over the years. And they, in the municipalities, face the same thing. The price of salt has just gone through the roof. And last year, one of the problems with the shortages were that the rivers froze and they couldn't get the barges up. So, I mean, this is one of these things that you don't really think about until the day happens when you, all of a sudden, it's the middle of March and you don't have any salt and you still got 8 inches of snow coming. So, thank you. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Oh, we already did that. Motion second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley.
Yes. Gary.
Second renewal this evening is with Transworld Systems Incorporated to aid in our accounts receivable collections. We've used them for the past 7 years. 2 years ago, we reviewed them along with 3 other vendors and concluded at the time that they were still competitive in their pricing, had provided solid performance and support in our collections, and there appeared to be no features that the other vendors would provide that Transworld wasn't already providing, so it would have really been change for change's sake. The cost for the service is $785 per collection with a base contract of 10,000 accounts for a total contract cost of $78,500. And as has been the case in the past, they do offer a guaranteed 200% return on investment. There is a chart attached to your packet that shows you the return on investment over the years. And so I'm happy to report that we do receive indeed that in excess of the 200% return on investment that we put out. So we are recommending the renewal of the contract with Transworld as presented.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion?
Just a question, and looking at some of this stuff, Assistant Superintendent Grisafi, and maybe it's not an answer for tonight, but what are our schools doing to help reduce and minimize some of these extremely large figures of fees that are owed? I mean, what are the schools doing before it gets to the hands of the people that are having us go out and figuratively, knock on their doors and threaten to hold back diplomas or whatever we got to do? But
The schools are very instrumental in frontline defense, if you will. They are the first call, if you will, to collect fees in terms of sending out 5 letters, 5 separate individual events saying that past fees are owed. They do set up deferral plans if needed with families. We've had calling nights in the past. And so we've made a lot of different efforts, including now taking fee payments online, which is a first for us to help families in any way to make their payments.
I guess I wasn't surprised, but I guess I was taken a little aback by the amount. So in my tours of coming to the schools, that's going to be one of the questions that I'll ask the principals, and what are they doing to proactively help reduce that cost so we don't have to spend an additional amount of money to help get these fees collected. So thank you.
Any other discussion? We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Hawks?
Thank you, President Quigley. This evening, Action Report 13.1, Consolidated Action Report for Certified and Classified Personnel. We're seeking your approval on 28 items for certified personnel, 31 for classified personnel, 2 for administrative classified, and 1 for administrative certified personnel.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms.
My
Hawks?
second action report this evening, 13.2, is Resolution Number 1496, and we're seeking your approval to authorize the dismissal of educational support personnel employee for reasons other than reduction in force.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Venegas?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes. Information Report 14.2. As indicated at the last board meeting, the Heart Haven Outreach H2O focuses on supporting VVSD teens experiencing challenges at school and in their home life. They proactively and reactively provide supports for our students in our Alternative to Suspension program, which is ATS, and our Therapeutic Discipline System, TDS, and some of the many supports that they provide are obviously ATS and ATD, Talk It Out support groups, real-life support groups, transportation, good, clean, fun, recreational activities. Going deeper, character development, you got served service projects, one-to-one mentoring, snacks, a track and tutor after-school tutoring, overnight trips and retreats, special events, and community service opportunities. In conjunction with our expanded ATS, TDS programs, VVSD is seeking a formal partnership with H2O that will ensure services for the 5 middle schools and 2 high schools. Currently, they service Bolingbrook High School previously, and last year they serviced Romeoville High School. The estimated cost for these services has been built into the 2014-15 budget and attached to your information report. It suggested staff schedule and estimated income and expense reports for the proposed expansion. VVSD will track the annual success of the program using attendance, disciplinary history, and academic outcomes as our benchmark. We bring this to you today for information, seeking your support and approval at the next board meeting.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Next.
Next, we have the preschool expansion grant, and here to present that is Elizabeth Martinez, the Executive Director for K-5.
Good evening, President Quigley, Vice President Gugis, Dr. Mitchum, members of the board, senior administration, staff, and members of the community. I am Elizabeth Martinez, and I'm the Executive Director of Educational Services Pre-K-5. And Jackie Brown is here with me, and she's the principal of our Early Childhood Center. We're very excited to share this opportunity with you. Preschool Expansion Grant. What is the Preschool Expansion Grant? Well, it supports states to build, develop, and expand quality, high-quality preschool programs to low and moderate income families. How is the program developed? In response to President Obama's call to action, the high-quality preschool program, he wants every single child in America to be able to participate. So Congress appropriated $250 million for fiscal year 2014. This was a collaborative effort with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, U.S. Department of Education, over 600 public comment and public testimony working together to design the program. We applied for the grant, but Illinois will need to be approved first. So how do states qualify for the expansion grant? They have to demonstrate an ambitious and achievable plan. They have to sustain high-quality preschool programs and be able to serve additional eligible children in high-need communities. We feel that we're a likely candidate because our prestigious Early Childhood Center has earned the Gold Center of Quality Rated Preschool Program status. That's not an easy feat. So how will states be selected? They'll be looking at the quality of their plans to include high-quality preschool, quality improvement plans, strong partnerships within the community, birth through third grade continuum, and sustainable programs. Illinois' response came out of the Governor's Office of Early Childhood, soliciting interest surveys and proposals. Valley View submitted a survey and proposal with the parameters outlined by the program. We must be able to serve 4-year-olds in a full-day setting, inclusive of students with disabilities, serve students of 200% below the federal poverty line, and it must be a collaborative agreement between the community programs. Valley View's proposal supports our beliefs. Early identification of students helps create a pipeline from preschool through third grade. We will be able to serve an additional 160 4-year-old students, 200% the federal poverty line, and currently we are only able to serve 14% of our entire 4-year-old population. This is in support of our board and Dr. Mitchum's vision, because we know that research supports that foundational skills in the primary years to be mastered is essential to set our students up for success for college and career readiness. Our proposal includes opening 8 new additional classrooms, 4 in-district, 2 Head Start at Good Shepherd Head Start Center, and 2 at Barber's Corner KinderCare in Bolingbrook. We're happy to say that no building construction will be required to participate in this grant. We will be fortunate to get some additional staff, 8 lead teachers, 8 paraprofessionals, 1 early childhood specialist, a parent educator, social worker, nurse, curriculum coach, and some additional support for Jackie and administrative support. The anticipated grant amount is a very nice factor, which we know that will be able to help many children in our community. It's $1,283,546. It will include staff, benefits, professional development, learning materials, parent education, rent and utilities, and transportation. Other program contributions will be in-district, in-kind contribution, and that will be $204,541, which will include benefits, parent education, learning materials, and transportation. Our total Preschool for All, Head Start, and Community Preschool Program contribution will be $230,412. So the total preschool expansion program will be a support for our students of $1,718,499. Our timeline, pending approval from the state, our application was submitted in October to the Illinois Governor's Office. In December, the federal government will approve states that will be able to participate. In January, we will be finalizing our planning and implementation. And then in August 2015, we hope to open 8 additional classrooms to help those 160 students in our community that could really benefit from our high-quality preschool programs. So we do appreciate your support, and we also know that what the best and wisest parent wants for their own child, that is what us as a community should do for all of our children. So thank you so much for your support, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? I just have one. What do we know about the long-term sustainability of the federal grant? Has that been factored into the?
Yes, currently, do you want to speak to that?
I'm just kind of curious. Sometimes these things start out big and then.
Right, we did discuss that.
From going to the meetings that I attended, the informational meetings, they do intend to sustain it at the state. If the federal government does not sustain it at the state level, they feel like that they would be able to sustain it as well. Because to put all of this time and energy and, of course, funding into this and then to take it away would not be in anyone's best interest. So that did come up at a lot of the informational meetings.
I'm just leery of the state.
I understand. I understand. We totally understand.
That number that Gary gives.
President Quigley, I would also like to add that this grant, if awarded, would be for a duration of 4 years.
Right.
So minimally, we would have it for 4 years, but there's a lot of talk about the sustainability. So, but in that time, the opportunity to service 160 students per year for 4 years, even if it were to diminish, it would be an opportunity that we can't pass up.
Sure, I understand. One of those things that once you get it started, you want it to be able to maintain that level of service, and then if all of a sudden it becomes a huge financial burden and you have to make some decisions. And if we're relying on the state to give us all that money all the time,
Right.
Question I had was, is the reason we're not doing it all in district because we don't have the space?
Space is an issue as well, and plus there also one of the requirements of the grant is to collaborate with the community. So for two reasons, but the main thing is that you do have to have a collaboration with community preschools and with Head Start.
Is there no way to do it with keeping it in-house but collaborating with the community in other ways?
They do emphasize that they want you to actually be to maintain some of the classrooms within the community preschool setting.
Because I guess my concerns are twofold. Effectively, in one manner of speaking, we are going to create a charter preschool that may need, we're going to create 4 or 2 locations that are effectively a charter preschool. That comes with a lot of things, because those won't be our employees, correct?
Well, we will have input on the hiring, because there are very specific parameter and guidelines in hiring. So we would have say.
They won't be VVSD employees.
It would be a collaborative, not totally.
They won't be with our collective bargaining agreements.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right? They won't be with our collective
No.
bargaining agreements. Have we talked to our collective bargaining folks about this, and how do they feel about this? Have we discussed that with them?
We have not yet at this point because we've only submitted the interest application. If we are to progress forward, we will most certainly will have that conversation.
The other thing is, how have we vetted these places?
As far as?
I mean, one of them is for profit. One of them recently, I believe, had some financial improprieties that led to the conviction of their treasurer for a large amount of money. So how have we vetted these?
The target of the grant is to target the most at-risk students. And of course, Head Start, that's their target too. So Head Start is not an issue. And then when we did look at the kinder care, the percentage of the students that they had that are receiving the child care initiative type funding, they were one of the ones that received the largest amount. So it was an effort to target the most at-risk preschoolers.
I mean, those are concerns I have with who we choose to partner with, why we choose to partner with them, and then some past history, at least with one of the partners, have recently had some difficulties on their financial front with integrity issues. So no concerns about the program. I think expanding preschool is long overdue and something that we should do.
Absolutely.
I'd be more comfortable if we did that more in-house than out-of-house. And the more we could do in-house, the better. I just want to make sure that we're fully vetting these other folks,
Sure.
because it could have an impact on us and our kids if they're not up to snuff.
Right. I can assure you too, as far as from funding purposes, the funding is facilitated through the district. So we would have control over that as far as if there's issues, concerns with funding.
And then we have had conversations regarding the oversight and the administration of those sites because they're not centrally located. And so that's something that we are talking about in great depth now.
Vice President Gugis, did you have concerns about Head Start? Because they're celebrating their 50th year, and some of you knows that I'm pretty close to Head Start, so.
I don't have concerns with Head Start.
Okay.
I don't have concerns with Head Start as a program.
Okay.
I have more concerns about the two groups that we've chosen. Have we fully vetted them? So Head Start as a program, I think, is very valuable and a good program. My concern is more with the locations and the businesses and the organizations that operate those Head Start programs, and have we investigated Head Start, but have we fully investigated the two places that are operating these programs?
But when you say operating, because the Head Start that we're talking about operating is here in Bolingbrook, and that's only one location. So, what are your questions?
Well, isn't there two? There's KinderCare in Bolingbrook, right?
Okay,
and then Good Shepherd Head Start Center, and that's
that's the only one that we have in Bolingbrook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which one?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about the questions about the Head Start. It's only one Head Start program in Bolingbrook.
I'm sorry. Then I apologize. Barbara's Corner KinderCare and Good Shepherd Head Start Center. Those are two places, right?
That's correct.
Two separate entities. Okay.
Yes,
that's what I'm referring to.
Okay, so what was the question you were saying? The improprieties with the Barbaras, what was your concerns about?
I didn't identify which one had the improprieties.
Oh, okay.
Do you?
Okay, the money comes from the federal government, so I'm just saying, so are you saying that the government did something with the money?
No, we don't even have the money yet, Member Campbell.
No, but I'm just asking, your concerns with how the money is, the Head Start money is the grantees receive it from the federal government, so I'm just trying to see what is your concerns with that, and that it's not being housed here, because there's only one Head Start program that's in the Bolingbrook area.
I don't understand your question.
My question is, what are your concerns about the Head Start program?
I don't have any concerns about the Head Start program.
Okay.
I voiced my concerns.
Okay.
Any other comments? If not, thank you, ladies.
Okay, thank you. We will take note of those points, though. Research it. Thank you.
Next up, the mobile app. It's on the wall right here.
Vice President Gugis' head.
You got some nice tape on it, too.
Taped up very nicely on the wall. And you can do whatever you want to do with it.
Good evening, President Quigley, Vice President Gugis, Dr. Mitchum, Superintendent, Senior Administration, members of the board, and members of the Valley View community. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce to you the new Valley View District app. This has been truly a collaboration between the technology department and all the departments within Valley View to ensure that we have the highest quality content available to our community. I'd particularly like to recognize Nikki Haley, who has worked tirelessly to ensure that the content of the app and the community has been involved in ensuring that we can provide this for you. I'd also like to recognize Assistant Superintendent Grazafi, who brought the app to senior leadership for review, Dr. Mitchum, who recognized the power of this collaborative tool and funded the app, and to Larry Rander and Shanitra Brooks from the Community Relations Department, who have been working in collaboration with Nikki and other members of the iSeries team, Leslie Panzer, Nicole Eimer, and Dave Paston from Technology to bring this to you. I'm going to hand it over to Larry now, who's going to give you an introduction to the app.
Thanks, Astrid. I could tell you that this is cool because we have instant calendars customizable by school or by district or by both. It's cool for parents because parents are going to be able to check their child's scores on a weekly basis. They're going to be able to put alerts on the scores, so if they get if their grade drops to whatever level they want the alert. They will be alerted that their child's grade has dropped. The parents will be able to access every single staff member in Valley View, including the Board of Education. Click on that name and send an email to that person. We have a two-way conversation, let's talk item in the app. I could tell you all about that, but what I really want to tell you about is what I told the Romeoville Chamber of Commerce monthly luncheon today. You'll recall about 3 years ago, we had a significant issue with an oil leak. And that oil leak created a ton of chaos within the school district and the community. And in fact, that chaos was created because of some air quality control monitors that were placed on poles in our schools that Mr. Brown and I and the maintenance department thought were bombs. And this occurred on September 11th, 3 years ago. So we called out the bomb squad, et cetera, and it did create quite a commotion. I'll also point out last spring's shooting. That also created chaos because the shooting in Romeoville occurred after RHS students had arrived at school, while middle school students were on the bus to school, while elementary school students were standing on the corner waiting for their buses to come. And it created a significant amount of chaos. As I told the Romeoville Chamber of Commerce this afternoon, these incidents will appear on the app. In other words, we will be able to let the community know what's going on long before they knew when these happened. So this is a communication tool. This is a way for us to be able to talk to the community, let the community talk back to us. Let me show you a video real quickly and you'll understand.
What if our district had an app? An app to engage the entire community in ways we never thought possible. What if, when we typed our district's name into the App Store, it would be our app that appeared? What if we could personalize the newsfeed to see only the schools that matter to us? That would be awesome. What if all district and school calendars were integrated into a single calendar? And what if we could add school events to our personal calendar? Never miss a parent-teacher conference or an early out, because all this info could be found in one easy place. What if we had an app that could modernize our schools and districts with push notifications? We would know instantly about any emergencies. And what if we could receive great alerts for our students? That's an emergency too, right? What if this app could be completely translated with a touch of a button? Gracias. What if our app was built on a framework that is helping millions of parents across the country, making it faster and easier for us to get up-to-date information than ever before? That would be an incredible app. Well, guess what? We've got it. We've got an app made just for our district. And it's here for you to download today.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not real keen on these things, but I did find two things of keen interest. One, Miss Bassett's picture's already up here and getting her Pillar Award. Two, for those of you who are interested, cookie dough pickup is all day at Bolingbrook High School, or I'm sorry, Brooks Middle School on the 16th. So if you ordered cookie dough, these are the things you can find out that you didn't know previously. Sorry, but I just had to throw that out because while you were doing that, I was doing this because I just downloaded this at about 3 o'clock today. So.
Very easy to download. All you got to do is go to the Apple App Store or to Google Play. And as President Quigley has pointed out, there are, in the news feed that you get the feeds of all of the approved Facebook and Twitter pages of all of the schools that you decide you want to receive them from. If it's the RC Hill PTO, you can customize it and you can receive their feeds. If it's VVSD's Facebook, you can customize it and receive our feeds. This is a very significant move forward for us in the communication world because as we all try to prepare our children to be college and career ready, it's important to have the kind of collaboration between parents and students, the community, and the staff that this is going to bring to us. So everybody who's listening out there, please download this. It's going to be a great tool for us as we move forward.
Thank you.
Quick question for you, Ms. Miranda. How many downloads do we have so far?
984
Awesome.
as of this afternoon, and it's been in the hands of parents since probably Friday, Saturday.
Excellent. The only thing I would encourage is, I know a lot of us in this room have already downloaded it. Please write a review. We have no review. We don't have enough reviews to have reviews. And as those of you who know, that is a big deal when people download apps. So please write a positive review. I got to be on this a little earlier, and it's a great
So how do you do that?
I will show you after the meeting, President.
That's an excellent point, though, Vice President Gugis.
Just because I got this doesn't mean I'm all geeked up.
I am, President Quigley, I'm a technological dinosaur, and I was able to do it, so it's pretty easy to do. Vice President Gugis, that's an excellent point. This is a work in progress. Nikki and the IT department have done significant work, but as a work in progress, we like feedback on what people like about it and what people don't like about it. And you can do that through the Let's Talk portion of the app. Let us know what you think about it. And we have a meeting every Friday morning to talk about changes in what we need to make for the app.
Oops, I hope I didn't hit something like 911. Geek. He's not kidding. He is a dinosaur. Larry only went to a computer when he ran out of ribbon for his typewriter.
All right. Moving on.
So, thank you. This is great stuff. And for those of you who, you try to stay involved in all this kind of stuff, just go into the calendar itself and you can find stuff that you didn't know was going on. And I can get my cookie dough. I won't have to worry about it not being frozen. It'll be bad if it's frozen. So, it's good stuff. Thank you, guys.
I would like to echo just in some of the last year or so the various community board members, when we've gone to different meetings and sessions, they look at our website and it's, ask the superintendent, and they think we're state of the art. When they see stuff like this, we are literally head and shoulders above almost every other district in the state of Illinois. And this is just another fine example of our staff not sitting on their laurels and saying, hey, you know what, this is good enough because our surrounding districts are doing something close to what we are, and we're not a Me Too district, and this is just another example, so thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up,
That's me.
course proposal.
High school programming course proposal. I would like to thank the team that just shared with us information about the new VVSD app, because there's a tremendous amount of work that goes on behind the scenes that we're not aware of, and they should be definitely given credit for those efforts. This is a good segue into this course proposal. High school course proposal is programming, and like everything else we're doing in the digital age, there's a ton that goes on behind the scenes that we have no clue about. Because we're the end users, so we get to see that nice looking app or the website that we're working on, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and that's what our CT team, our Career and Technology Education team, led by Tammy Kahn, Director, our department chairs Rick Rujewitz and Shannon McCarthy, and our teacher coordinator representative, Tom Hanlon. They're working tirelessly to keep our courses rigorous and relevant for our kids and engaging. So this course programming is in response to meeting kids where they're at in the digital age, but also preparing them for one of the fastest growing job sectors out there, and that's in mathematical and computer occupations. So to prepare our kids for this, it's essential that we provide them with an opportunity to build the knowledge base, which is the building blocks of the industry, and that's what we will get through programming. I'll just give you some brief information. You can look at the details. If you have specific questions, I'll certainly call up one of the team members here, because that's definitely not my area of expertise. This is a hands-on interactive course that has an emphasis on object-oriented programming. Students will basically be exposed to the standard in the industry and have this real experience of actually doing the work. It's a semester-long course, and in the subsequent pages of the report, you can see how that breaks down in the course outline, the course outcomes, and the goals. The expenses for this course are covered by Perkins and CTEI grant funding, and so that's another plus. And it's a homegrown course, and the staff will be supported in getting up to speed to where they need to be to keep up with our students and take them even further. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Couple comments and then one concern. This is great that we're doing this program. There's some research out there that we should probably even be teaching coding at the elementary level. This is definitely, future-based and where jobs are going to be for our students. Oftentimes we hear things that say we should be preparing kids to be certified plumbers and certified electricians, and not that those aren't great jobs, they're just not a lot of them available, and because there isn't the work. And when the work does pop up, there's a lot of laid off union workers in Will County that get those jobs first. This particular area is a field that throughout the United States we actually bring in people from other countries to do this kind of work. If you listen to Apple, Google, all of your larger companies, they cannot find enough people that do this work. So no question this program should be here. My only concern is, and I didn't see anything listed in here about this, and if there is enough time, I would love to see this added to this program, is that females represent roughly 50% of our district. This district is this area is woefully underrepresented by women. There are several Facebook pages if you're interested, Girls Who Code on Facebook. You can like that page and see the efforts that are going to get young ladies into this field. I would love to see something maybe added to this to make a intentional effort to make sure that we see it balanced from male and female in our district, to be proactive to that national problem and not wait for it to happen. That would be my only request, but I think this is long overdue. Thank you for taking the lead on this and doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Your comment will definitely be taken into consideration. Good comment.
I think you'll be surprised how many girls were. 20 years ago, I kept talking my girls into going into honors math, and now we outnumber the boys in the program, so I'm sure we're coming along there also. If you looked at what was in there, I actually had to go online and say, what is Ellis? She was my aunt, but now she's a computer name. Yeah. And Python was a snake, and it's now computer. And Syntax was the other one. I actually went online so I could find out what they were. So maybe I'm the only idiot here, but I was like, Ellis? So it's impressive that...
It is like a foreign language if
yeah,
you're
really
not in that world.
That our kids would be able to do this.
Absolutely. I think we will be impressed beyond our highest expectations of what our students are doing, because we already see that in our other courses like graphic design and anything else that seems foreign to us.
Next, board policies.
It's me. Tonight I'm presenting two policies for first reading, and we'll be bringing those back for second reading and approval. The first is school board, school district elections, 230, and the second is school attendance area and transfers within district, 730.
Thank you. Next up, legal services. Anything?
No update.
Thank you. AFT reports. No report. Thank you. Valley View Council report. Thank you. Valley View Office Personnel Council report. Thank you. Any old business before the board this evening? Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Hearing none, seeing none. Any announcements by the board?
Yes, I just like to make a comment on something that was said before, just to remind the board that we have only one employee, and that employee that the board has is the superintendent. So when we're making our decisions and things of that nature, just for us to keep that in mind, we have only one employee, and that is the superintendent.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
A couple announcements. I want to encourage everyone to go to the Valley View Enrichment costume party. That was quite an interesting presentation. I will say that I will not be able to be there because I will be at the RC Hill Fall Dance. I have 2 daughters who are attending, so I will be there. I wanted to let everyone know about, this is, I may say this wrong, this is October is College Application Month, I believe. And
correct.
We have several events that have already happened in our school district. And a little bit earlier, we were talking about opportunities for our students. Recently, NPR had a story about the silent majority. And what the story covered is, while there has been lots of hay raised about the fact that young college graduates are having trouble finding jobs, that's been talked about a lot in the media. The Pew Research Center pointed out that it is nowhere near as difficult for them as it is their peers who do not get a college education. They are having an extremely difficult time finding work, to the point that it is like they are trailing behind not only their college-educated counterparts, but they are doing worse than earlier generations of less educated adults. Currently, they make $17,500 less dollars per year than their peers that have college educations. In addition to that, their rating of their job satisfaction, how much they like their job, is extremely low. So with that being said, it is October and College Application Month, and there are several things going on. The next one up, I believe, is the College Admission Process Part 2, applications, interviews, and scholarships. That will be at 6 p.m. on October 28th at Romeoville High School. And then the financial aid process will be November 3rd and 4th at Romeoville High School, and 6 p.m. on November 12th at Bolingbrook High School. And then the FAFSA completion night, which is a key piece that is also one of the big barriers that doesn't get done sometimes. If you don't have your taxes up to date, if you don't have a lot of things that need to be done, your student won't be eligible for financial aid. That completion night is January 27th and February 24th at RHS and February 11th at BHS. We're going to talk about this a lot coming up, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. I also wanted to mention that we have 2 people here that, at least I know 2 people here, there may be more, that look rather good for having completed the Chicago Marathon Sunday. That would be Mrs. Casey down there on the end, and I see Dr. Wood. I don't know if there's anybody else right here. I don't know if anybody else here, but congratulations. Congratulations on your run. I enjoyed following you guys. And last but not least, I wanted to say personally goodbye to Dr. Kelly Gilbert. She's leaving the district to become Deputy Director of the Illinois Center for School Improvement. Ms. Gilbert's been with the district for a long time. I got to know her as the AP at A. Vito Martinez. And when I first got on the board, she reached out to me and said, Rick, I want you to come to my school, and I want to show you my school. I want to show you my students. Kelly has a heart for our students. She has a heart for this district. I hate to see her go, but I'm glad that she has this opportunity. So, Dr. Gilbert, thank you for all you've done for us.
Any others?
I'm going to help Mr. Gugis. Your dance is on October 24th, and the party's October 25th.
Look at that.
I thought they were the same night.
It was on the app.
It was on
It's
that.
on the app.
Thank you. Duly noted.
So now you have to show up.
You are
I
correct.
have, unfortunately, since we're all discussing our personal calendars, I am the head club baseball coach at Lewis University, and we are traveling to Augustana University on Friday the 24th, and we have back-to-back doubleheaders on Saturday and Sunday. So I will be in Augustana. So unfortunately, I will not be there. So please don't send Mr. Lawler and the Grim Reaper.
You need anybody to help you?
To me. So. But I would like to, I've had a couple of the principals in our district mention something to me. I also serve as the president of the Bolingbrook Athletic Council, overseeing all the youth sports organizations in Bolingbrook. And I've had a couple of the principals ask that if there's youth organizations, sports or otherwise, that you don't assume that the staff at your son or daughter's school knows of these extracurricular activities and events. They want to know. If it's something that happens to fall under the Bolingbrook Athletic Council, you can notify me. I'll be more than happy to pass that along to the principals at the various schools, but don't assume that they know everything that's going on in the community. Let them know, and I'm sure if they can, they will be there to support your son and daughter, which during the day is their son and daughter. So don't assume. If you want them there, I think they will be there in full support. So thank you.
Thank you. I was going to mention Dr. Woods and his personal record. I heard you were going to be on the cover of Runner's World magazine. At your advanced age, to turn in a time like you did, I think that's pretty impressive. I didn't know you were running. Very nice.
I'm very slow.
It's okay.
You
The
did.
key to it is finish, correct?
Survive.
Any other announcements by the public?
I'm sorry, President Quigley, I do have one
Oh,
under
I'm sorry,
administration.
administration.
I'd like to invite the community to join us for a community forum on Thursday, October 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at Bolingbrook High School. Please enter at door 17. This forum will focus on substance abuse, and we'll have the opportunity to learn from our community partners. The Robert Crown Center will be with us that evening, and you'll also have the opportunity to discuss with other parents and community members about the substance abuse epidemic, specifically the drugs that are leading today's teens to the gateway to heroin and increasingly alarming numbers. So please join us. That's October 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at Bolingbrook High School.
You said the Robert Crown. They're not doing the reproduction one, are they?
They are not doing their reproduction lesson, no.
Just to kind of hammer home what she said, I had the unfortunate situation of being in court for a minor traffic violation a couple of years ago. The judges in Will County, particularly those who handle traffic violations for children, young drivers and what have you, have taken this issue very, very serious. Judge Nash in particular, and I had a very brief conversation while he was giving me a $150 fine. But that being said, heroin is an epidemic in this area. Fortunately for us at Valley View, we have been out in front of this much, much more than some of the surrounding communities. But that's not to say put our heads in the sand, because it doesn't exist. We didn't put our heads in the sand, and we have been out in front of this. And forums like this, you would be amazed at the numbers from where they were 10 or 15 years ago to where they are now. It's not just heroin, it's other drugs as well. But that epidemic, when a sitting judge sits there and tells 16-year-olds who are trying to get their license back for running a red light or whatever, you will read this document that he hands to them, or you will not get your license back. That's how serious the courts in this area have taken it, and the interventions that are going on. And when I mentioned to the judge that we were having one of these community forums, this was a couple years ago, and he said, Valley View has been way out in front of this, and I'm very grateful for that. And he attributes that to the numbers that we have not had as they have had in some other districts. And it's not you do it once, do it twice, do it 3 times, and you can quit whenever you want. Kids do it once, and they die. It's just that simple. So this is not your mother and father's heroin of 1960. It's very strong, it's very powerful, it's very accessible, it's fairly cheap, and it's very deadly. So if you have any concerns or issues on it, show up at one of these forums and you will be amazingly educated. And there's things online you can find out about it as well. But this is probably one of the most important things that we will do throughout the year to inform the community, because it's not just for our kids, it's for the entire community. So thank you, Rachel.
I have one announcement. As you know, Illinois has one of the most regressive school funding formulas in the country, and it has for many years. That means that students who need the most support receive the least. And while state education dollars are intended to equalize spending, and that is to follow the need and account for differences in local wealth, less than half of state spending considers both student need and a district's ability to support that need. School districts like Valley View have been underfunded for years. I believe, Gary, to the tune of $10 million in the last 5 years. and we're not given the time or resources to adjust. Doing nothing while we wait for more dollars cannot be an option. The current playing field, the status quo, is not level and is getting worse. The formula we use is broken, regardless of the amount we put into it. Every year we recalculate how much money districts will receive from the state, and the highest poverty districts around the state have been losing 5 times the funding of districts with less need and greater local resources. Senate Bill 16, which has been passed by the Illinois Senate and is now under consideration in the Illinois House, is designed to address this situation. This measure will not in it of itself increase your property tax bill. I repeat, it will not increase your property tax bill. The time is now to fix the way the state spends your tax dollars. It is unacceptable for the 5th largest economy in the country to be the 49th in education equity. I'm asking that you take a moment to email or call your state rep and urge them to vote yes for Senate Bill 16. We have forums out in the foyer area. We also will post this on every venue possible and get this into the hands of our stakeholders. I've been preaching since Senate Bill 16 has come to life in support of this. Clearly districts are lining up on one side of the aisle or the other. To me, it's just a question of the haves or have-nots. The formula is broken. We lose a significant amount of money. There's a district to the north of us with literally 57 more children, whose budget is $36 million larger than ours. And even if Senate Bill 16 were to pass, they still would have $20 million more to spend on a population of students that is greater than ours by 57. So I do urge you. This is a significant. It's a difference of $8.4 million to our district, which could support our programs significantly.
I would just tag on to that. I want everybody to think about that. So the district that has 57 students more than us has $36 million more a year. So if you want to put that into a number, it's over 500 teachers that would pay for. How many teachers do we have? Certified teachers do we have roughly?
About 1,600.
About 1,800. So that would pay for 500 more teachers, just to put that in perspective, per year. That's how much more money they get than us for 57 more kids. I mean, when you think about that, that makes me angry. To be quite honest, that's upsetting. They have 57 more kids and $36 million more. I am asking our community to come out. I'm also asking our labor groups. The AFT, I'm asking our teachers. The 3 biggest groups in the AFT, Joliet, Aurora, and us, are looking at $8 million, $15 million, and $10 million apiece. Your group should be out front talking about this. I'm asking our busing and transportation labor groups to get involved in this. You have a long history of supporting many of these folks that represent our area, supporting them both financially, votes. Let them know what this means to us.
Any other comments? Please state your name, where you're from.
President Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, and the community members. My name is Diane Perro, and about 13 months ago, I stood before you here with a proposal and a presentation to put a sound shell, a cloud system in the Bolingbrook High School auditorium. As you know, that did come to fruition. We had our reveal on June 4th, and this coming Thursday in 2 nights is the first concert that will be held in the auditorium with the new sound shell. So we're very excited. It is a choir concert, and to double your listening pleasure that night, Butler University will also be here performing. Their chorale choir will be here to perform. So you will not only get to hear all of the Bolingbrook High School choirs, but also the Butler University choir. So come on out. 7 o'clock is the concert Thursday night. See the new sound shell, listen to some amazing music, and support our children. Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, her daughter attends Butler University, correct?
Oh, no, no.
She is
that off.
She's
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
I'm expecting to see some Case Western then here soon, too.
I forgot the time.
I already forgot. Steve forgot the time. Also, Thursdays, Take Back the Night. Is that correct, Mr. Brown? And what time is it?
6
It starts at 5.
Starts at 5 o'clock. Take Back the Night starts at 5 p.m. at the Levy Center, correct? Okay, thank you. Any announcements by the public? Any further announcements by the public? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Have a safe and hopefully dry evening.